Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Another episode of Bitcoin Trade here. Now, in this episode, I have no news to talk about. It's more or less a continuation of a chart analysis of uh, Bitcoin price, specifically in US dollars. So, anyways, in my previous episode, I talked about this potential momentum breaking up, and as you see where I last left off, I believe I had a line here, and that was the very long-term trend line, the long resistance. And if you see here, you'll see these smaller candlesticks here, and it looked like the price moved up, hit, and then it was just lagging for a while. Picked up over the weekend. This is a 12-hour chart. That's current price. Bitfin, 12 hours. And if you want to get an idea of the rest of the prices here, there's your Bitstamp price, there's your Bitsy price, Bitfin, and I don't know how to say it, but I'll say Hobu or something like that. Now, if you look at Bitphoenix is currently right now the highest in price. Now, that may be due to its larger volume, margin trading, and all these other things that Bitphoenix does, um, that some of the other exchanges aren't doing or have not done yet. But I'm going off of this because it's by volume in US dollar and Bitcoin, the largest US dollar exchange right now. So anyways, it's really moving higher in price. It is breaking upwards. This is the trend line if you saw the longer term from the previous episode, and so it's broken up here, and this specific candlestick right here, this one right there, was the break upwards. And then after it broke up, it took a little rest. It wasn't too sure if it was going to really advance. It's Monday now, so I guess you could say the rest of the world had its trading time, Monday trading time, go through now. And so this is the US trading session, I guess, and you can see it's pushed up higher. It was starting to push up earlier in the morning, and then it just continued to push up higher. And a couple reasons, I guess. Obviously it's broken the trend line. There's some great positive signals, and you can see that it's the 10 period. It's been riding on the 10 period. It dipped down below the 10 period, and it looks like it bounced off the longer 25 period average. So it's looking really good. And so you're really getting some good signals, and this price is pushing up higher than this previous high right here. And so these are all very good signals to an upward trend now. How long will this upward trend will be? I don't know. Overall, I can only say that it's even on 12-hour, I think that's a good signal that it's starting to go back on an upward trend instead of a downward trend. So it's starting to reverse here, and this time period right here, that was the key period in the reversal. The drastic sell-off, which coincided with the hacking of Bitstamp, and then after the Bitstamp hack, you see the announcement of Coinbase Exchange, and then it kind of just withered away, that excitement right there, and then it's come back down below. And all this time there was a lot of things going on, like Ponzi schemes, everything, you name it. It was just coming out, and then this started to rise up again above this two averages, and then another hack, Bitcoin stolen out of its cold storage wallet. But even then, despite all that, you'll see that it still maintained a price above or at the two averages. Came very close to here. I bet a lot of people probably, I won't say a lot of people, but a lot of people who were shorting right here probably lost out. And then we saw the jump in price, and then this one, two, three, four candlesticks here, kind of teetering on that very long-term trend line, and then finally broke up, and then it's pushing up now. So there's no psychological barrier or any block now preventing from this price moving, advancing upwards. It's already gone above this particular high. The only barrier now, it's not even a psychological barrier anymore, because it's broken the very long-term trend line here. Is this whatever 325 somewhere, this high right here, which I think it'll reach without any issue. Matter of fact, it's just pushing up higher and higher, and so it'll probably push up higher, and it'll probably take a pause right there. I don't know how much of a pause, may even pull back a little bit, just a retracement from profit taking. But I think it won't be a barrier or any block, because the biggest block was that long-term trend line, and so it'll probably continue up higher. I've been reading some reports that mention maybe if it reaches 400, they can consider it a reversal. For me, these are early signs of reversals. Matter of fact, this area right here was a very telling sign for me for the first indication of reversal, that it broke up above 250, and then second time it broke above 250, and then once it really did break above 250, I think those were very good indications of price advance going up. Now, hopefully, a lot of the viewers here that have been watching, you took some notes, and you made some really good trades on some of the things that I've been talking about, and I've been doing too. Was as I'm trading, I mentioned that keeping your gains in Bitcoin was a lot easier than keeping your gains in dollars. Now, I'm not really talking about just trading on the exchange. I use the exchange to do several things: to hedge, and as a backstop against any losses, or unfortunately, it's also a backstop against any gains. But it depends how you're trading, what your strategy is. And my strategy has been since 350, and maybe I called it a little too early, or maybe it was good that since 350, and you'll see 350 is right about somewhere right around here. So right around here, that price has been continuously dropping. I've been changing my strategy throughout this whole period to retain my gains in Bitcoin, and as each time the price has been dropping, it's been much easier to gain in Bitcoin. Now, I've technically haven't made a gain, but considering that these Bitcoins are my gain Bitcoins, there are no risks for me, and what I've just been doing is doubling down on my no risk, and so far I think that strategy has paid off. I've been doing a lot of trades during these lower periods here and here, and every time I made a trade, I kept my gains or a portion of those gains in Bitcoin. And so I've been very fortunate to accumulate more Bitcoins than I've had before, and all at no risk, amazingly. And I've been doing a lot of butterfly trades, depending on how the price moves. So, don't get me wrong, I still make my gains in US dollars. It's just that whenever it was the benefits of making my gains in US dollars had to outweigh the benefits of keeping my gains in Bitcoin. So typically it would have been like maybe a spike in the price that there would be a benefit to keeping my gains in US dollars. But that was not very often. It was more of inconvenience that I couldn't complete my my trading strategy, so I just had to let it go and just keep my gains in dollars, more or less. It wasn't because there wasn't any great benefit or anything like that. So, but anyways, hopefully some of you have been watching and listening and you know, implementing some of your own strategies that I've talked about, and doing it in your way, and hopefully you've kept your gains in Bitcoin. You've absorbed some of those Bitcoins, either through trading or in peer-to-peer trades, or vice versa, whatever, and that, you know, you've been accumulating your Bitcoins. You've been mining Bitcoins, harvesting Bitcoins, earning Bitcoins. And now, I think for those who have, you know, really have been very committed in that strategy, are really benefiting and reaping what you've sown, basically. And so I would say harvesting is upon us very soon, and the fruits of your labor, you'll be able to harvest. And you know, good for you guys, for those who understood, you know, the ins and out and flows and the cycles of trading, and was really committed to your strategy. So, and as for the others, I guess you can say there's no winning or losing strategy. It's just, you know, for people who just bought the Bitcoins and then sold the Bitcoins for a gain, and then just kept the gain in fiat currency. I mean, they've technically still made a gain, but the way I think you're doing, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you go out and acquire your Bitcoin somehow or some way, and then you put it out into the market, and the market price is different than the exchange price, you'll you know, ideally you're asking for a higher price, and you get that higher price and you keep your gains in US dollars. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you constantly have to keep doing that. You constantly have to be putting yourself in at-risk positions. When I say at risk, that means you have to trade peer-to-peer, and every time you do trade peer-to-peer, there is some risk. It's never safe, 100%. But you know, you do put yourself at risk, and you have to continuously trade that way to make your gains. And there's nothing wrong with that. I do that too, but I'm taking multiple strategies to ensure that you know, if something does happen, I'm not wiped out, if that makes sense. And plus, my strategy has allowed me to just sit back and just watch the market. Let the market make the money for me. I don't have to go out and try to make a market anymore. I'm letting others make the market and letting them make the money for me. What I mean by that is, now that you've acquired your Bitcoins, or you've absorbed those Bitcoins to how much ever you want, in my opinion, doing that, it's not too late to do that, because in my opinion, it's just starting. If you just look, it's a breakout, and once you get that breakout, I mean, and it starts trending upwards, the trend goes for a very long time. So you're not really late into this trend. A lot of people wait until they get a really good confirmation before they even buy into the trend. And so, you know, I wouldn't say you're late into getting into this very long-term trend. Hopefully it's a long-term trend. It's just that, you know, I've seen these kind of trades. I've seen the charts, and I do have experience. I don't have years and years, but I have experience, and you know, that experience has helped me, because during this time here and this time is where I made most of my gains in Bitcoin. And then actually right around here, not here and here. And every time the prices fell, I mean, I did feel the pain of the value going down, but I also realized that I can make up for that by gaining more in Bitcoin. So every time it came down and down, it became easier and easier to make up for those losses and gain Bitcoins. And now that I've acquired a lot of Bitcoins, and if you implemented the same strategy, you probably acquired a lot of Bitcoins. You don't have to go out and trade that often peer-to-peer. You don't even have to trade at all. All you have to do is just sit back and relax. You could probably expend some of your Bitcoins now if you know how to do that. You could probably trade your Bitcoins, but you don't have to feel like you're under pressure to sell Bitcoins. For those people who actually sell peer-to-peer, I mean, you've dedicated this time and you want to make money this way, you don't have to feel pressured. You don't have to lower your prices to get a transaction done. You could just sit back and just say, hey, this is the price that I want. And if there's no takers, that's fine, because as long as the trend is going up, you've made money either way. If you really need to sell, you can probably go down a little bit further on your prices on a peer-to-peer level to get, you know, money to pay bills and whatever, but you don't have to what I would call is, you know, drop your pants. You don't have to drop your pants to complete a transaction anymore. And you don't have to do a fire sale or anything like that. I'm not saying you have to, you know, you're not going to, you can just raise your price to what, well, you can do whatever you want to do. You can sell your Bitcoins for whatever price. The question is are you going to find a buyer? Or, you know, raising your price on a sell price or a buy price, or lowering your price dramatically to find a seller on an upward trending, you know, price, it's going to be harder. So, but my point is, you don't have to feel the pressure of moving your Bitcoins to a fiat currency just to make your money anymore. If you played it right and you got your Bitcoins, you can just sit back and relax. All the hard work that you've done, all the effort you put into your strategy, it's paying off. It's paying off for you, and you're enjoying and benefiting. Excuse me, benefiting the benefits of all that. So, excuse me. And so, but I also want to mention that it's not too late to get in on this momentum trade, because I'm still benefiting from it. I'm still trading. I'm still buying and I'm still selling. I'll probably maintain this strategy. It's not a very difficult strategy at all. And the more, you know, as more and more people, you know, take on the strategy, you're probably going to start seeing the value start to rise, because the demand is going to outweigh the supply. Because I really don't want to sell any of my Bitcoins, really. Not any that I've gained through the strategy, because it's become a long-term, very long-term investment for me. I I probably will use it. I'll probably get some gift cards every now and then. I'll probably sell some just to get some you know expense money. Um, but the beautiful thing is that you're just going to be literally selling a fraction of what you've gained. Let's say you gained a whole Bitcoin and the price advances upwards, you're going to be selling a smaller portion of that for what you really bought in for, or however you acquired it for it. And now your Bitcoins are lasting a very long time, and that's the point. And as I'm still trading it, I'm still going to be absorbing those Bitcoins. So it's for anybody holding Bitcoins, that's probably how you want to start trading, because on an upward trend, it's going to benefit you, and you won't be into pressure. It depends how you're trading, but you won't. There's no pressure for you to sell your Bitcoins. Not like it was before, where I'll go. Let me do another couple things. Chart analysis here on a 1-day period. Look at that. It's crossed over on a 1-day period. That's really another positive signal that it's starting to trend upwards. The momentum has shifted, going up. But my point is, during this time, and then during these times that you see the prices fall, especially around here lately. Overall, let's go back to a 3-day and let's take a look at the chart. So on a chart on a 3-day here, you'll see that it's hit up against the longer average period, and to me that's a good sign. That means there's demand pushing it up higher, as long as it stays above the 10-period average. And once on a 3-day, this is when you know that it's really going to go, I wouldn't say bananas, but this is a 100% positive confirmation that the trend is starting to reverse, or has reversed, is when you're on a 3-day, and now the 3-day is flipped over, where you have the 10-period average above the 25-period average, and the price is bouncing off that 10-period average. So it hasn't gotten there yet, but these are the early signs here. And look at that bar. Is if it can finish on that on a 3-day period, it's a solid strong bar, instead of these little spikes that come back down and spikes that come back down, and even this one spike that come back down. If this is a bar that is solid, it's a very bullish sentiment as far as analyzing it on a candlestick. So let's take a look at overall 1 week, and this is again just on Bitfinex, but I'm just giving an example. Like, as the price is going down, there's a lot of pressure for people who trade to sell. So this is, well, ever since here, but especially since here to now, and even on this weekly, the chart analysis here, you'll see that the price has gone above the 10-period average, which is a really good indication. And if it does manage to hit up against here, that price is what price is that? Let's just take a look. At 327, around there, somewhere around 327. So anyways, when the prices are falling, there's a lot of pressure for traders to liquidate your Bitcoins, because if you hold on to them, they're going to lose value, so you're trying to sell them into the market. And unfortunately, I think that's kind of been what's going on, and that's why you're probably seeing a lot of people. That's probably what's also been driving the price down. But I think you're going to start seeing a shift, because as traders start to trade, they're more inclined to hold on to those Bitcoins, because there's a good chance that they're just going to rise in value. And so those who are selling, they're not going to be selling for a very low price because they're not in a rush to get back their fiat currency, because they're gonna, hopefully if they're smart, they'll realize, man, I don't have to work at trying to sell my bitcoins as hard. I just have to sit here and just say I want this price, and if I don't get the price, well, as long as the price goes up in value, I've made money. Now, you don't really have US dollars going in your bank account, but if you look at your total value, your portfolio, your assets, or whatever you want to call them, they've gone up in value. And if you wanted to sell, you probably could sell, but you would just realize you don't have to sell. There's no pressure for you to sell. Matter of fact, if you wanted to, you could start using some of these bitcoins if you needed something. And now it becomes a trade of not how much money I can make. It becomes a trade of how much Bitcoin can you make, because if the more Bitcoins you have, the more money you're going to make. It used to be the more money you had, the more money you would make, because the price is going down. You're just selling your Bitcoins. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is in order to benefit or gain from your Bitcoin trades, it's really important not just to go get some Bitcoins and try to sell them. It's also how you make your gains. If you have, now I'm sure everyone, whether they trade or not, they don't realize that you are an investor. You're an investor because you've pretty much are in a position already. You pretty much are in a trade. If you're holding US dollars, you're in a trade. You're in a trade right now. You just don't realize it. And but if you're only holding US dollars, there's nothing really you can do to have a gain, a value gain, because you're stuck. You need something else to go back and forth to capture those gains. So whether it be gold, silver, stocks, house, your business, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, but you need something else. You need a counter trade for that. You need some other thing that you can go back and forth. All right. And so my personal preference is Bitcoin because it's so easy for me anyways. It's become more liquid in some sense. It's become more easier to spend, and it's super duper, for me, it's super duper easy to trade. And I can transfer the value from one wallet to another wallet, to an exchange, to somebody else, to another entity for products and services. It's so easy, and I don't have to. I have it with me wherever. I have it at home. I have it on my phone. I have it on paper. I have it on, wherever. Cold storage. It's accessible to me for the most part. And in order to make a gain on Bitcoin, you have to have a Bitcoin, is my point. So for those who just buy Bitcoin and then sell them, at the end of the day, I mean, you have no Bitcoins, right? But you have a lot of money, or you have money plus some that you started out with. That's great and all, but and for you to keep doing that, or for you to make your money that way, you have to constantly, and I mean constantly, you have to constantly do that. Um, which, it's okay, you can do that. For me, that's not really what I had in planned or in mind. Um, I can do that. I can do that until the day I die. But that's not something that I desire to do. What I really want to do is, I want to free myself from that and start doing the things that I would like to do. You know, start achieving some of the goals that I have in mind. And if you're just only in a one asset, and you can say money is an asset to some degree, um, you can't escape yourself. You've painted yourself in a corner. It's a trap. You've trapped yourself. The only way you're able to make a gain is constantly just buying and then sell out of your bitcoins. And unless you're willing and to accept, um, bitcoins into your life and accept that this is it, this is my future, or to some degree at least, having another position instead of just a fiat currency. I don't see a way out for people who trade. They're just going to have to constantly trade. You have to constantly buy, and then you have to constantly sell out, and then you have to constantly buy again, and then constantly sell out. If you're not willing to retain some of those gains in bitcoins, I think you're trapping yourself. And there's a time when to absorb Bitcoin. There's a time when to absorb in US dollar, and there's a time to absorb in Bitcoin, and then maybe even some other assets and other things. And but just to buy something and just to sell it is, I'm not trying to judge anyone or anything. It's just the way I see it. It's futile. It's fruitless. It doesn't get you anywhere. You're on one. You traded one treadmill for another treadmill, and although you feel better about this treadmill, maybe has a little bit better features, has a, lets you do the incline and decline and all sorts of other things. Maybe has a TV and headsets and all that stuff. You're still on a treadmill. So the point is for you to get off of the treadmill and start actually going somewhere with your life, and not to be just on a treadmill going nowhere, even though you're still doing things. I guess it's, in some aspects it may be good because you're in training, but at the same time it's, you're not really doing anything. You're going nowhere. You're sweating, you're moving and all that, but at the end of the day, have you done anything? Have you gone anywhere? No, you haven't. So that's the point I'm trying to get across, is you have to have, in my opinion, and this is some of the strategies that I'm starting to realize this, is you just can't buy and just sell and keep your gains just in US dollars. Especially if you know anything about US dollars, you realize it's not a safe place. It's not a safe haven. There is no safe haven. Not even Bitcoin is a safe place. But what you can do is you can, take the position of, you're already in one position, which is US dollar. Get into the other position of Bitcoin, and from there you can really start gaining. You're missing the other half of the trade. You're only gaining on one side, but you're not gaining on the other side, so you're not really utilizing the full potential here, is what I'm trying to say. Start utilizing the 100% of what you can do, and man, you will get to wherever you want to go faster. Is my point. So, anyways, I'm going to conclude this episode. Let's go back to the 12-hour chart here and see what's happening. There's the recent price. So obviously it is breaking up. It is trending up now. We'll see what happens. I think 350. I think what I say 320. 320 on that weekly chart is probably where that 25 period average is. So around this price, somewhere around here, look for that as being a resistance, and then if it does break through or pull back a little bit, depends. If it makes a higher low, that's a good indication that there's a good chance it could break through that and keep going up. So watch out for that. So anyways, feel free to like, dislike, even do a video. Oh yeah, leave a comment. Even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.